All right, listen up. We're about to run through the mandatory pre-qualification protocol for a 30-year conventional loan. Think of this as your final pre-flight check. Do not, under any circumstances, proceed to submission without completing every single step. And let's be crystal clear about this. This is not a list of friendly suggestions. This is the mandatory pre-qualification protocol. Every step is absolutely critical, and following these directives isn't optional if you want a successful loan application. We're going to proceed through 5 key directives. We'll start with immediate actions you need to take right now, then do a deep dive into your credit and financials, verify the loan parameters, and finish up with getting that final pre-approval. Let's get started. First up, Directive 01, the pre-submission protocol. This is your initial system check. It involves 2 mandatory actions that you must complete before a single piece of paper is submitted. Here they are. Action 1. You need to pull and review your credit reports from all 3 bureaus, that's Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and go through them with a fine-tooth comb, looking for any errors. Action 2, effective immediately, you are to pause all applications for any new lines of credit. No new car loans, no new credit cards, nothing. Full stop. Now we move to Directive 02, the credit compliance audit. I want you to pay close attention here because this is, without a doubt, the most critical part of this entire process. Honestly, this is where most applications live or die. To really understand the stakes, let's just look at a quick case study. We have applicant A. They had a solid FICO score of 720, well above the minimum needed. They had all their documents in order, and yet their application came back with one word: rejected. So the obvious question is, why? How does an applicant with what looks like a perfectly good credit score get rejected flat out? Well, it's because of a common mistake that trips up way too many well-qualified people. And here's the reason. The cause of failure was a single overlooked error on just one of their credit reports, a debt that didn't even belong to them. So you see, this wasn't a financial failure. It was a critical compliance failure. And the worst part? It was 100% preventable. This brings us to a massively important point. You have to verify you are looking at the right credit scores. Lenders don't use those free scores you see on consumer apps. For a 30-year risk, like a mortgage, they rely on the older, time-tested classic FICO scores. Specifically, that's FICO Score 2 from Experian, FICO Score 5 from Equifax, and FICO Score 4 from TransUnion. Let's draw a really hard line in the sand here. Consumer scores like VantageScore. They're great educational tools. They're useful for just keeping a general eye on your credit health. But when it comes to qualifying for a mortgage, they are not used. Period. Your entire focus has to be on those classic FICO scores. And you need to know exactly how the lender picks your qualifying score. If you're applying by yourself, they'll pull all 3 of your scores and use the one right in the middle. Not the highest, not the average, the middle one. And if you're applying with a partner, they find the middle score for each of you, and then they use the lower of those 2 middle scores for the application. Okay, let's proceed. We are now at Directive 03, the financial ratio audit. This is where we break down your financial position exactly how a lender is going to see it. The first metric is your debt-to-income ratio, or DTI. It's a pretty simple calculation, really. It's just your total monthly debt payments divided by your gross monthly income. That's your income before taxes. This number tells a lender exactly how much of your paycheck is already spoken for, and that shows them how much room you have for a new mortgage payment. The second key number is your loan-to-value ratio, or LTV. This just compares the size of your loan to the home's official appraised value. And the most important thing to remember here is that your down payment is the one lever you can pull that directly controls this ratio. The bigger your down payment, the lower and better your LTV is. This brings us to a major line in the sand for conventional loans. If your down payment is less than 20%, your LTV is going to be over 80%. When that happens, you will be required to pay for private mortgage insurance, or PMI. And make no mistake, this is an extra monthly cost that does nothing for you. It only protects the lender. And here is your final number for the financial audit, 36%. While some lenders might approve you with a higher DTI, if you want to secure the absolute best interest rates on the market, your DTI ratio cannot exceed 36%. This is the gold standard. It signals to lenders that you are a low-risk borrower with plenty of financial flexibility. This is your target. Okay, with your personal finances audited, we now have to confirm that the loan itself conforms to standards. This is Directive 04. Loan parameter verification. Your first check is simple. Verify your loan amount.
Does it fall within the conforming loan limits for your specific county? If it does, great, it's a conventional loan. But if it exceeds those limits, it becomes what's called a jumbo loan. And you need to know, jumbo loans are non-conforming and come with much, much stricter requirements.
Next, you need to understand mortgage points. A point is basically an optional fee you can pay upfront to lower your interest rate for the life of the loan, and you have to know the calculation. 1 point costs 1% of the loan amount. So on a $400,000 loan, 1 point would cost you $4,000. In exchange, that typically reduces your interest rate by 0.25%. And finally, let's just hammer this point home one last time. The absolute minimum FICO score for a conventional loan is 620. Yes, you may hear about FHA loans allowing for a 580, but that is a totally different product with a different set of rules. This checklist, this entire protocol, is for conventional loan qualification only. And that brings us to our final action item, Directive 05, securing your final pre-approval. This is the finish line. It's the culmination of all your preparation, your official authorization to go out and make an offer. The process from here is straightforward. First, you'll compile all your financial documents, your tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements. Then you'll formally apply with a lender and give them permission to run a hard credit check. And if you followed all the directives up to this point, you'll receive your official pre-approval letter. And why is this letter so important? Because it's your proof of readiness. It's the document that signals to sellers that you are a serious, qualified buyer who can actually close the deal. In today's competitive housing markets, an offer that comes in without a pre-approval letter often gets tossed right in the trash. And with that, your pre-submission audit is complete. You have checked every box. You have verified every single number. The only question left is this: are you ready to present a perfect, zero-error application?